Macro Review, Unit 2. This is a short one. It's helpful if you have the Holy Grail with you to follow along with all the formulas. Um, and you can follow, of course, my previous videos for more specifics. But in general, it's about three things. It's about three indices: GDP, inflation rates, or CPI, or GDP deflator, it's all the same category, and then unemployment. And the first one we talk about is GDP. To know what's in GDP, you have to know that there's three ways to count it up. Two ways that might be on your AP exam. Well, one way that we primarily talk about, and that is the output approach. Okay, the income approach measures all income from everyone in the country. The output approach measures up the how much we're producing goods and services as a country. Okay, so what do you do when you add that up? You add up consumption, investment, government purchases, and net exports. That is your output approach of final goods and services within a given year. It's just as important to remember things that are not included in GDP as there are things that are included in GDP. So are included is all final goods and services produced in a year. Things that aren't included are things like intermediate goods. If I build a house and I bought tiles for my kitchen floor, the tiles aren't counted by themselves. They're already included in the final sale and purchase of the whole house. So if I build a rocking chair, I don't count the wood that I purchased to build the chair. I count the final goods and service of the rocking chair itself. So no intermediate goods. Used goods are not counted. A used car is sold; it's not counted in GDP. Volunteer work, stay-at-home moms or dads, illegal activity like drugs, drug sales, drug payments that are illegal, not counted. Transfer payments like Social Security payments. Nothing is produced in a transfer payment, therefore not included in GDP. So you have to know the difference between real and nominal GDP. Nominal GDP does not account for inflation. If you get real GDP, you are subtracting for inflation. We went over examples in class on how to do that. Hopefully you still have those examples in your notes. So here they are. Real GDP. What is the formula that would be helpful for your test? Real GDP equals nominal GDP over the price index. The price index could be the CPI or it could be the GDP deflator. Those are two price indexes that we use in this class. The second thing we'll look at is what is the index? Well, whatever the index is, whether it's CPI or whether it's GDP, in this case the price index, price of a good in a specific year that you're looking for, divided by the price of the good in the base year. So they're very similar to how you get GDP if you're calculating GDP from year 1, year 2, and year 3. So go back and check over those notes. After you get that, whatever the price index tells you, then you can figure out the rate of inflation. And this formula is the same for anytime you're trying to find a percentage change between any of these indices. So rate of inflation is the new minus the old divided by the old times 100. Okay, simple percentage change formula. The fourth one here is another index, is your GDP deflator. The formula you got to know is nominal GDP divided by real GDP times 100. And of course, you can move this around if you want to find, if they give you the real and the deflator, you can find the nominal. So you got to move the formula around. That's algebra. Hopefully you can figure that out on your own. All right. There are weaknesses now to the index for both of these. For the price index, the weakness is that generally it's 300 goods in a market basket. That's the CPI. And that's a weakness of it because people all of a sudden might not buy that good anymore, or maybe the quality of that good changes. But all we know is the price is going up or down. So it kind of weakens the purpose or whether we trust the CPI when we get the inflation rate. The GDP deflator measures all goods and services, the price change of all goods and services in the entire economy, whereas the index only does 300. Okay, so that's for that. Now the second part here is the final part is the unemployment rate. Mostly formulaic based and what's included and not included. What's the unemployment rate? It's the number of people unemployed divided by the labor force times 100. But who is included and who's not included? So you got to be above 16. You got to be 16 years or older. Senior citizens are not included. If you're in the military, you're not included. If you're not looking for work, you're not included. And so you have two. For that reason, you have two formulas. You have the unemployment rate, and you have the labor force participation rate, which is labor force divided by working age population times 100. I think it's times 100. If I'm wrong, look it up. Leave me a comment. I don't remember everything. The unemployment rate now has three types of unemployment you have to know: frictional and structural. Frictional means you're leaving your job, you quit, you're unemployed for a little while in the time you take to find a new job. You're moving to California or somewhere else and you're going to be unemployed That's frictional unemployment. It always exists. Structural unemployment means my job no longer exists. I'm a VCR repair guy or something like that. Well, VCRs don't exist. I have to go learn a new skill in order to have a new job. And that takes time. And during that time I'm unemployed, that's structural. The structure of my job has declined. It's gone. I have to go find a new industry. These two added together equal the natural rate of unemployment, which is about 5.56% in the United States. It's higher in Europe, but for now, that's what it is for you have to know for your exam. The third one is cyclical unemployment, and this one is the one we're going to talk about for the rest of macroeconomics. This is the recessions of the business cycle. If we go into a recessionary period, the business cycle produces less output. We fire or lay off workers, and then we come out of the recession and we go above the natural rate of unemployment or below the natural rate of unemployment. So unemployment's going up, and then as we produce more output on the upward slope of the cycle, then unemployment starts to go down. All right. Okay. So part-time workers not included in unemployment. They're counted as employed part-time workers. Discouraged workers not included. It means they stop looking for work. If you're not looking for work, you can't be unemployed. So those are weaknesses of the unemployment rate. That's it. Do your practice questions. You should be fine with Unit 2.